Okay, good evening, students.
Good evening, ma'am.
So here I am with you to discuss the poem Animals. Do you have pet animals at home?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. I would share my experience of having, I had a pet dog some years before, but unfortunately it died. So that was a great experience for me of owning a pet dog. Uh, really, animals have a lot of values. When we compare ourselves with animals, I think animals have more values and more feelings and emotions than human beings. I would just like to uh, share one video with you. Are you able to see my screen, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So this is a short video on how animals are helping each other. Just so did you see that video?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can see the solidarity of the animals, no? How they help each other. And there have been many occasions when humans have been saved by their pet or by other animals. There have been so many occasions, right? We have been reading in the newspaper or seeing it on YouTube, right? All these videos we have seen. So moving on with the poem. Animals. It is written by Walt Whitman or Walter Whitman. So here you can see, can you see my screen, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So here we have the poet Walt Whitman or Walter Whitman, and you can see the poet here, how he looks. Okay, so let me give a small introduction to the poet. He belongs to America. He's an American poet, essayist, and journalist. Journalist, you know, one who works for a newspaper, right? He
Newspapers.
was a journalist, he was an essayist, and a poet. And he was also one of the leading figures in American poetry. He was one of the leading poets in the American poetry field. And he wrote poetry in verse. Verse means he never followed a rhyming pattern or rhyming scheme. And he is also known as the father of free verse. As we go with the poem, you can understand what is this free verse. It's not written in rhyming form. There are no rhyming words at the end of the sentence. It's written in free verse. And this poem, what we are going to deal with, is taken from Song of Myself. Animals, this poem Animals is taken from Song of Myself. Song of Myself is a collection of poems. I hope it is clear.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Moving on to the major themes of his poems. What are the major themes in his poems? His poems revolve around these themes. They are democracy, life and death cycles, individualism, and nature. Democracy, you all know what is democracy. You are reading it in your social science, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
life and death cycles, and individualism. Individualism means what? Giving importance to individual needs. Individual needs are more important in a society. More than the needs of the society, individual is more important. So he focused on individualism and nature. You all know nature. Nature around us. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Moving
Yes,
ahead,
ma'am.
let us now discuss some of his notable or famous works. Some of his famous works are Song of Myself, Calamus, A Noiseless Patient Spider, Song of the Open Road, and Oh Captain, My Captain. So I would suggest that you should definitely at least look into that poem, Oh Captain, My Captain. It is one of his one of the famous creative work of Walt Whitman. Okay, and he had penned this poem when Abraham Lincoln died. Okay, so that poem has a theme of Abraham Lincoln's death. Now, what is the central theme of the poem Animals? What are the ideas he wants to convey through the poem, through this poem? Comparison of human life and animal life. Here he is comparing human and animal life, that we will come to know as we discuss the poem. Then superiority of animals' life over human beings. He is showing how animals are superior than human beings, and in what ways also he's telling us. Then the loss of virtues in humans. The humans are losing virtues. All the good qualities we are losing in this age of technology. Poet's admiration for animals. The poet is admiring the animals for all their virtues. I hope you understand the meaning of virtues, good qualities. Virtues, what does it mean?
Good qualities.
Good qualities. So the poet has first made a comparison between human and animal life. Then he says that animals are superior than human beings, and he also he's highlighting the loss of human values, and he's admiring animals for still keeping those values with them, still keeping those moral values with them. And poet's desire to turn away from human beings and live with animals. He expresses a desire that he is saying that he wants to turn away from human beings, leave the company of human beings, and join animals and start living with animals. Hope it is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so these are the ideas on which the poem is revolving. I'll just read the poem for you. I hope you have the text with you, children. Yeah.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
just read the poem for you. This is just a first reading of the poem. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, not to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their position. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? So that is the first reading of the poem. I want one of you to take the initiative to read the poem just once. One of you, please.
I think
Thank
I
you,
could
Ashwak.
turn
Thank
and
you.
live with animals. They are so pleasant and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God, and not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, not to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth, and so they show their relations to me, and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself, they evince them plainly in their possessions. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them?
Thank you, Ashfaq. So here you may have come across some difficult words in the poem. I'm sure you have. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
if you want, you can mark it in your textbooks. Which are the unfamiliar words or the new words for you, and then we'll go ahead with the word meanings. Shall we? You can mark.
Yes,
You can
Yes,
ma'am.
mark the
ma'am.
difficult words or yeah, fine. So moving ahead, placid. Placid means what? Very calm, relaxed.
Please.
Self-contained. Self-contained means self-control. They have a lot of control over themselves. Self-control. Whine. Whine means to cry, to lament.
Cry about.
Yeah, to cry about. Lament. Okay. Sins. Sins are wrong deeds. I think you can see my screen. I've
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
sins,
ma'am.
wrong deeds.
Yes.
Demented. Demented means mad, madness. Mania. Mania means craze.
Crazy.
Grace.
Events. Events means show. They are displaying. Yeah. Mania means craze. Events means show, display. They are displaying. Negligently. Negligently means carelessly. Kneels. Kneels means bending. And tokens. Tokens means symbols. Okay, the word you are not familiar with, you can ask children.
Sins means
Sorry. Sins, wrong deeds. Sins means wrong deeds. Okay. Anything else, children? Anything else?
No.
Yeah, thank you. Moving ahead, this is a summary of the poem. Can somebody read it? One of you, please read.
Yes, ma'am. The poet feels more comfortable and at home with animals. He wants to move away from human and live with animals. Animals are calm and content. They never weep over their miserable conditions as humans do. They never worship God and weep for their sins. They don't suffer from the mania or madness of owning and possessing things. They don't fall down on knees to show respect to others. Thousands of years ago, ancestors of human beings possessed the qualities of love and kindness. Humans have lost those tokens of love, but animals still retain them. Humans are greedy and overambitious and thus have lost all values.
Yeah, thank you, Aishita. How do I say your name? Aishita?
Tamiza, you can call me Tamiza.
Sorry, Tamiza?
Tamiza, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Tamiza. I'll just read once again the summary. The poet feels more comfortable and at home with animals. I have told you that is what the main idea, the central theme. He wants to move away from human and live with animals. Animals are calm and contented. They never weep over their miserable conditions as humans do. They never worship God and weep for their sins. They don't suffer from the mania or madness of owning and possessing things. They don't fall down on knees to show respect to others. Thousands of years ago, ancestors of human beings possessed the qualities of love and kindness. Humans have lost those tokens of love, but animals still retain them. Humans are greedy and over-ambitious and thus have lost all these values. Is that clear? I think the summary
Yes,
is
ma'am.
clear to you. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we will go into the detailed explanation of the poem, line by line. Are you okay with it? Yeah?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Can I
Perfectly.
proceed? Fine. First line, I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. So here, the poet is saying, the poet believes that he thinks that he should not turn away from human beings. He should leave the company of human beings and join animals. What is the reason? Why is he going to do that? What forces him to do it? Because they are very calm. The animals are very calm and they are self-contented. They are contented. They are self-controlled, contented, happy with themselves. They have a lot of self-control over themselves and they are very calm and relaxed. So that these qualities in the poet, in the animals, forces the poet to think in a different way. To think that let me leave the company, let me leave the company of humans and join animals. I stand and look at them long and long. So the poet is observing animals for a long time. He is looking at the animals, observing the animals for a long, long time. He is appreciating those values, those qualities in animals. Clear? He's so impressed with the animals that he stands and goes on looking for a long time at the animals. Clear? Yeah, first
Yes,
two
ma'am.
lines. Okay.
Yes,
Moving
ma'am.
to the third line, third and further lines. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. So here they say the poet says the animals don't sweat unnecessarily. When does somebody sweat? Can you tell me?
When they are worried about their
When they are
situation
worried
or
about,
stressed.
when they're too much worried, yeah, they are tensed or they work for more number of hours. Yeah, when they stress themselves too much, humans or animals, they sweat. But Here in this poem, the poet says the animals don't sweat unnecessarily. They don't get tensed or worried for unnecessary reasons. They don't work too much like humans. They work, if there are 24 hours in a day, they work for 26 hours. They put additional effort. They take additional effort on their part, and they sweat unnecessary. They sweat unnecessary. But the animals don't have such qualities. They do not lie awake in the dark. Animals do not lie awake. They do not spend sleepless nights. They all get very peaceful sleep at night. It is humans who do not get peaceful sleep at night. Because why? Why is it so?
They are
Because
tensed
they
about
keep
lots
on
of
thinking
things.
about what they did, whatever wrong deeds they did in the past, and
Yeah. True, very true. Correct,
very
correct.
correct.
So the humans are thinking whatever wrong deeds or whatever wrong things they have done throughout the day, that keeps them sleepless. That makes them sleepless. So they don't get a peaceful sleep. They don't have a peaceful night. And compared to the conscience of humans, the animal conscience is very clear. Human conscience is not clear because human is involved in many wrong deeds, wrong actions. Okay, and they do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. The animals do not, they have not committed any sins, so they do not weep, they do not cry. Whereas human beings, they cry in darkness for whatever wrong things they have done. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. The animals do not discuss their duties or obligations towards God. But humans, they keep on discussing their moral duties and obligations towards their near and dear ones, toward the society. And I mean, they make the poet bored by all these useless talk. It's only talk going on. They say humans say I have to do this, I have this moral obligation, all those, but they don't do it. In actual terms, they don't do it. They just simply talk and make the poet bored about. Okay. Moving on. And animals do not pray to God to fulfill their desires. Whereas humans, they keep on praying to God. God, please help me to achieve that. Please help me to get that. Please help me to buy that. Isn't it? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Moving on. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Whom is the poet referring here? Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Who is
Animals.
not one?
Yeah.
Yes, animals.
Animals.
Yes, correct. Animals. So he's saying animals are not crazy of owning and possessing things. Unlike human beings, they're satisfied with what they have. Human beings are like participating in that rat race, in the competitive race where I need to make a lot of money and I need to gather a lot of wealth for myself and for generations to come. There are people who have amassed a lot of wealth, not only for the present generation, but for the coming 2-3 generations. There are people who have accumulated so much wealth and property. He's comparing, the poet is again comparing and telling that the animals are very satisfied and they don't have the craze of owning and possessing things like humans. Not one kneels to another, not to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. So animals, they don't bend before their ancestors or bend before their elders. They don't, bend their head. For them, everybody is equal. All animals are equal. But humans, how do they behave? They have to bend, they have to prostrate before others, they have to bow down before others. Alike, we all do, isn't it? When our seniors, or superiors, our teachers, our parents, we need to show some courtesy to them, respect to them. So no such thing is there among the animals, because amongst animals everybody is equal. So there is nothing of that showing respect to somebody or showing dishonor to somebody. There is nothing of that sort. Okay, It's like they're all equal. It's all these pretentious behavior is found in pretentious attitude is found among humans only. Such a nature or such a pretentious attitude is not found among animals. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So poet says everybody is happy and everybody is equally respected among the animals. Whereas in the case of humans, some are unhappy, some feel that I was not given due respect by others, I lost my honor there, I lost my prestige there. Such issues are always with the humans. Okay, fine. Shall I go
Yes,
ahead?
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So they show their relations to me and I accept them. So now animals are showing their relations to the poet. Showing relation means what? They show that somewhere long before, animals were also a part of humans. Animals and humans shared similar bonding, shared similar sentiments and feelings. Okay, and that on based on those past bonding and past relations, he is accepting them as his own. He is accepting the animals as his own. That is what he's saying. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. Some many years ago, thousands of years ago, man and animals lived in the forest, right? So they shared the same bonding. They had the same sentiments. So based on that bonding and sentiments, he is now ready to accept them, make them honest, take them on his own. They bring me tokens of myself. They bring me tokens of myself. What is tokens of myself? Tokens refer here
Symbols
to
of
Symbols.
Symbols of
symbols or of values. Symbols or values, they evince means show, openly display. They display them plainly in their possession. So all those values, they openly display it. That what they have, what they possess, those values, what they possess, they are showing it openly. They are displaying it openly. Moving on to the last two lines. I wonder where they get those tokens. So the poet is wondering, where did they get those tokens from? Where did they get those values from? Did I pass that way huge times ago? So he's asking himself, did I pass that way many a times? Huge times ago means many a times, and negligently drop them. Negligently means carelessly drop them. Them means what? What does them stand for?
tokens of himself.
Yeah,
Tokens of the
tokens of
poet.
himself,
values.
or the human values, that more moral values, right? Like love, kindness, sympathy, empathy, all those values. Long ago, he had dropped them. And who took them?
Animals.
Animals. So
Animals.
I'll just give a small explanation over there. See, both animals and humans were living in the forest, right? Now, when humans shifted from forest to villages and to settlements, and due to the development of civilization and technology, what happened? They dropped all those values on the way from the forest to the villages or towns or cities, isn't it? It happened like that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Man left the forest and they made settlements, they constructed cities, they constructed towns, they developed their technology and science. And so on the way, while leaving from the forest and when they reached the town or the village, on the way they dropped all these values. That is what the poet wants to say. And those values were picked up by who?
Animals.
Animals.
By the animals. And they have still retained it. They have not dropped it. They are still continuing with it. They still display it. Unlike humans, humans, they have dropped those values. They don't need it at all. They don't require it. Now what they want is money, science, and technology, right? These are the things. And greed. No, greed and over
Yes.
ambition is ruling. These are the desires, or these are the emotions that are controlling human beings. Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
way from the forest to the town or to the cities, man dropped all those values carelessly. He didn't bother. He said, okay, I don't want these values, I don't want these tokens. He dropped it, and animals took those values, and they are still living with those values and displaying those values, and teaching the humans to retain those values, take the values, imbibe those values in ourselves. They are teaching the humans. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
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 I'll just move on to figures of speech used in the poem. What are the figures of speech used in the poem? There are many figures of speech
They is
used
repeated
in the poem.
3 times and
Yeah,
not is repeated 3 times.
yes, yes. So shall we go one by one? Can you see my
Yes,
screen,
ma'am. Go
children?
ahead.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Alliteration. First, starting with alliteration. What is alliteration?
Repetition of sounds.
Repetition of consonant sounds in close connection together in a line. Okay, the consonant sounds are repeated in close connection. So we can have few examples here from the poem. I stand and look at them long and long. So you can see that l sound is repeated. Look, long and long. So that's an example of alliteration, and a few more I'll just read out for you. I wonder where they get those tokens from. So you can see I have marked the alphabets. Wonder, where, wonder, where, wa. It's clear. In the same way,
Yes, ma'am.
they get those tokens. Next, one more, I have written a few more examples there. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. So again, the consonant sound, do, discussing the duty. Okay. The next one, not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented. Again, the sound is repeated. Dissatisfied, demented. Next one, not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that. Again, n, sound of na, kneels, nor. Another one, they bring me tokens of myself, they evince. Me, myself, ma sound is repeated. They is also the, twice the sound. They. Plainly possession. Last one. Did I pass that way a huge times ago and negligently drop them? Da. Did in da and drop in da. So these are the examples of these are the situations or examples from where we can see the figure of speech alliteration. Would you like to make a note of it, or shall I move ahead?
Yeah, noted, ma'am.
You
Noted,
can,
ma'am.
ma'am.
We can.
Yeah, okay. If you want, you can make a note of it, then we can move ahead. Do you need more time?
Ma'am, thank you.
No.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Next, we have assonance. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds in close connection. Okay. Alliteration was repetition of consonant sounds. Assonance is repetition of
Vowel.
vowels.
Sounds.
Let's take this example. I think I could turn and live with animals. So here,
I,
The vowel I is repeated.
vowel I is repeated constantly.
the vowel I is repeated. Okay. Now, next, anaphora. What is anaphora? When the same word or phrase is used at the beginning of a series of sentences, more than one sentence. When a word or a phrase is repeated in more than one sentence at the beginning. What are they? They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark. They do not make me sick. Okay, so every sentence is beginning with they do not, they do not, they do not. So that is called anaphora. Shall I move to the next slide?
Yeah,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
We can.
Next is repetition. Repetition, repeating a word for emphasis. The poet has repeated words for emphasis, for stressing. Example, long and long. First line. I'll just read that line for you. Sorry, the second line. I stand and look at them long and long. Did you see?
Yeah, ma'am.
Next,
Yes, ma'am.
not one is
Yes.
dissatisfied. Yeah, not one is dissatisfied. Not one is demented with the manner of owning things. Again, not one, not one. It's being repeated.
Ma'am,
Next example, I think, yes, yes.
anaphora will come in the in another series of sentences also, ma'am. With the
Yes,
not
this is
one is
coming. Yes,
dissatisfied, not one kneels to another,
yes,
not one is.
yes, sir. Yes, it is coming. Yeah. Yes, Molly, you are correct. Anaphora is coming in another situation also. That is, not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the manner of owning things, not one kneels to another, not to his kind that lived thousands of years ago, not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So these lines also will serve as an example for anaphora. You're correct. Okay. Moving on to the next example of repetition. I think I could turn and live with animals. So here the word I is repeated twice. Okay. Fine. They
Yes,
bring
ma'am.
me tokens of myself. They events. They. Even it is also repetition. Example of repetition. Okay. Personification. What is personification? The practice of representing a thing or idea as a human or
Yes,
as a
ma'am.
person in literature. When you identify a non-living thing or an idea as a human, as a person, when you picturize it or represent an idea or a non-living thing in human form. That is called personification. Okay.
Yeah,
The
ma'am.
poet has personified animals, which is visible in the usage of pronouns such as they, their, his. So you have seen throughout the poem, the poet has used such preposition, such pronouns such as they, their, his, to show that animals are being personified. Okay.
Okay, miss.
The poet has also used verbs such as weeping, lying awake, kneeling. These are all actions performed by humans, right? But such actions are also associated with animals in this poem. Now, the next one is litotis. Litotis. Now, what is litotis? When
A
I
phrase in
want to,
which
a phrase in which a negative word is used in order to express something positive. I want to say something positive, but I am conveying it through phrases with negative sense, with negative words in it. Example, not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the manner of owning things, not one kneels to another, not to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. So here, the point means that all animals, they're all satisfied, they don't have the craze, they don't have the madness or mania of owning or possessing things, and they are all respectable, they're all equal in their group. There's nobody superior or inferior in their group. So he's conveying a positive idea, but he has used words such as not, not. So conveying a positive idea through negative words is called litotis. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Next figure of speech used in the poem is metaphor. Now, what is metaphor? Metaphor is a thing regarded as representative or symbolic of something else. The example here is they bring me tokens of myself. Tokens of myself is a metaphor. Tokens of myself means values what we had in us long before. So here tokens refer to those human values, moral values. So that is metaphor being used there. Example of metaphor being used there. Shall we move ahead?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fun. Yes. Fun is using a word with two meanings. A word may have two meanings. For example, the very simple word bat. Bat has got two meanings. You know, right? Bat is a thing which we use in cricket. And the other bat, it's a mammal.
Bird. Yes,
So
ma'am.
bird, you can you call it a bird? It's a
Mammal.
mammal. Yeah, mammal.
It's a mammal.
Yeah, whom you can see at night time, right?
Yeah.
So fun. How
Down.
is fun being used? How? Yeah, Tamiza, you said something. Yeah. So how has the poet used fun over here? He has used the words long and long. The word long has got two meanings. Long. I stand and look at them long means he was staring at them. He was observing at them, at the animals for a long time, for a long duration of time. That is one meaning of long. And what is the next meaning of long? Long means desire. The poet has a desire to spend his time in the company of animals. So long has got two meanings there. Clear? So that is an example of fun being used there. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Moving ahead, we have tautology. Tautology. Now, what is tautology? Tautology is representing one idea using two words. Though both the words mean the same. Both the words are representing the same idea. Just read out. They do not sweat and whine about their conditions. Sweat and whine means the same. The sweat and whine represents the same idea. Not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Demented and mania both means madness. Okay, so same idea being represented by two words. For example, I usually say the ATM machine. Suppose I went to get some money from the ATM counter, and I say the ATM machine was out of order. What is wrong there? What did I say wrong there?
Machine was not working.
The ATM was not working. What is that? What wrong? What mistake?
Maybe money is not
Comment.
there.
ATM machine. What is the structure I have? What is the construction? The structure mistake there. ATM machine was out of order. ATM. What is the full form of ATM? Automated teller machine. Right?
Yes.
That's the full form of ATM. But do I need to say machine again? ATM machine was not working or ATM was not working. What should I say?
ATM was not working.
ATM was not working. So there's no need of using machine again. It refers to the same thing. ATM and machine refers to ATM only. It's a common mistake we make in our regular, day-to-day life. So tautology, for example, I just wanted to give you one example of tautology. We use ATM machine. It is ATM is enough because ATM itself, there is a word machine in it. Clear? So
Yeah, ma'am.
tautology means an expression,
In which
phrase or expression in which the same thing is said twice in different words. The same thing is said in two different words, but it means the same. For example, sweat and wine, demented and mania. Demented and mania both means madness. Okay, so that is all. We have the figures of speech in this poem. I've covered the figures of speech, and moving next. These are the frequently asked questions in the board papers with regard to this poem. Why does the poet want to live with animals? Question number 1. Question number 2. The poem Animals is a satirical comment on man's ways. Justify. What is the central idea or message of the poem Animals? Mention 3 things that humans do and animals don't. Sorry, there need not be a question mark here. It should be a full stop. Sorry. Mention 3 things that humans do and animals don't do. Humans have lost the values while animals have retained them. Analyze the cause of degeneration of values in today's hard times. The poem Animals brings contrast between man and animals. Explain. So these are the common questions which are asked in the board papers. So you might have got an idea on how to attempt these questions.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we try writing at least question number 1 and 2?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Would you try writing the first one and the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just jot down a few something in your notebook with regard to the first question. Why does the poet want to live with animals?
Or should we just type it in the chat box?
Yeah, that would also do. Yeah, that would also do too. Or one of you can say why the poet wants to live with animals. Why do you think he wants to live with animals?
Because the animals are very pleasant and self-contained.
They do not weep for and ask for forgiving their sins.
Yeah.
And they are not much aware of the things they wanted, owning things, and they don't like so as comparing to human beings.
Yes, they are not desirous. They are not over ambitious. Yes.
They keep up the values, human values, which we had been lost from a long time ago.
Yeah, which we had dropped a long time ago. Yes. Okay.
And they are not dissatisfied about any of the things happening in the earth.
I didn't get you, Ashwak.
They are not dissatisfied with anything.
Yeah, they are not.
And they are not possessed with the mania of owning things.
Yeah, mania, the madness of accumulating things, gathering wealth, no? Accumulating wealth, accumulating property, accumulating money. Okay. Now, moving on to question number 2. The poem Animals is a satirical comment on man's ways. Justify. It's a satire. It's a fun on human life.
Satire Historical means
making fun, poking fun on humans. See, the poet has very indirectly and in a hidden way made fun of humans. Don't you think so?
yes,
Yeah, in a very polite way, in a very civilized way, in a polished way, he has made fun of humans. So you have to justify. How?
yes, because
Whatever you say.
it is visible from his lines. They do not sweat and whine about their condition.
Yeah.
They do not lie
They are
awake
very,
in the dark and weep for their sins. And this
yeah, they
is
do
in
not
contrast to what humans do. So it is
Yeah.
clearly making fun of humans.
yeah.
Because humans
And
usually do these things, and he's saying that animals don't do these things. By saying that, they are telling that humans do these things. So it is satire.
Yeah, so it's a satire on the human way of living. Or you can say you can make make two columns and write animals and what animals do and don't do and what humans do.
Yes.
So you can you can compare what animals don't do and what humans do. Okay. Now, what is the central idea or message of the poem Animals? That we have done in the previous slides we have done. Okay. Right? This is a central, these are the central ideas or the central theme on which the poem is revolving. Isn't it? The same things you can write. Comparison of human and animal life. Yeah. Superiority of animals over human
What is the
beings.
message, ma'am, actually? Message of the poem?
Message of the poem is that the animals are still continuing their life with values, whereas humans have lost those values. That's the
So
main
we have
message.
to
And
retain
they
those
are
values and
we need to learn those values or get back those values,
from
retain those values.
animals.
Yeah, from animals. In this fast paced life, we have lots to learn from animals. That is the message. Okay. Again, question number 4. That's very easy. Mention 3 things that humans do and animals don't. You have all discussed.
Yes.
You have all said. Yeah.
But
So,
and
3
whine
things.
about.
Any 3 things. So the poem is full of many things what humans do and animals don't do. So you need to choose any 3 of them. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Moving ahead. Humans, animals have retained them. Analyze the cause of degeneration of values in today's hard times. So humans have lost those values and the animals have retained those values. They have still kept it with themselves. So what do you think is the cause of these, the degeneration of values in today's time? What has led to it? What is your opinion? What has led to that downfall of man?
Development.
So they
Civilization.
stress too much about their
Yes.
condition, and they
I would,
always crave for more, and they are not easily satisfied enough with what they have.
Change in mindset.
That craze.
Desperation.
Sorry.
Crazy desperation.
Desperation. Okay, and the mindset of the people, right?
Yes.
And too much of development. Too much of development at the cost of nature. We are destroying.
Not being considerate enough.
Not being very considerate. So I think question number 5 and 6 may come for as a 4-mark or 5-mark question, long answer type. Okay, so you have to deal it in detail. Okay, so whatever you have said, you are correct. You have to add in little more. Fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you want to ask anything else based on this poem? What is your opinion about the poem. How do you take that poem? Do you agree with the point? Do you
This
agree with the
poem gives a
ideas of
very
the
good
poet?
message.
How far is he? Yeah, true, correct. Yeah. What do you take away from? What are your takeaways from the poem? What did you learn?
We should retain
I
human
think I
values with
agree with
All
that.
those
environment as well.
values which we have lost in our past.
Yeah. We should also have a strong bonding with nature and animals.
Animals.
Right?
Yeah.
We should retain those values and we should maintain the bonding with the nature and animals.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else?
We should be more
Any
more
clarity?
aware of what we do as human beings and be considerate enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should be more, as we are very intelligent, we are the most intelligent creature on the earth. We should be even more careful about our actions, isn't
Yes.
it? Isn't it?
Yeah, ma'am.
Anything else you would like to add on? Anything else? Okay.